think it's important to know where Andrew started, and because it's been a long journey for Andrew, and really, I feel, a tremendous success story. His condition was diagnosed very early on, probably at a year old, and that's very unusual for autism. He couldn't crawl. He went right to walking at a very late age, and he just stared, and then became very flappy and did not have any verbal communication until he became 6 years old.
Well, when you have a child with Down syndrome, there's things that you have to do for your child that you might not have to do if the child didn't have a disability. So there's a lot more taking care of the child past the age where you would normally have to do those sort of things.
Public school for Paris was not an easy one. You don't want your kid to be ridiculed. I think most of the time we find ourselves trying to make others understand what her issues are, as well as we try to make her understand what her issues are. So I think it's very frustrating that the folks don't see what we see.
What ECLC offers is a life for these students and life beyond ECLC.
He's on a fast break. All right. Good job.
When Tim started at ECLC, he became more happy with himself. He became less frustrated. He was just an easier child, because I think the frustrations that he was experiencing by being in the public school, where he really didn't fit in, he knew that. But then when he had been at ECLC for a while, he was much more self-confident. He was much more patient with himself when things were difficult, whereas before he'd get frustrated and kind of have a mini meltdown, and those things went away, and he didn't do that anymore.
Well, I have students who come in and they start with their heads down and they're frightened and they feel like they can't do anything. And my job is to make them feel like they can. We don't focus on what you cannot do. We focus on what you can do. And once I can build a child's self-worth, I can get them to do so much more.
The speech was one of the biggest things that we were concerned about, because we wanted other people to understand what she was saying. They told us how they had all this equipment, and she'd be working with balancing.
When a student is entrusted to us, we feel a great responsibility for their academic progress, their social progress, and for creating a path for them that will lead them to independence and fulfillment.
Tim's time at ECLC has been very much of a chance for him to blossom and become comfortable with himself, and to just learn and grow and show us all of his talents and all of his skills, because he's just so welcomed and he's loved and he just fits in.
I saw the interactions of the students with the teachers, and how the teachers were so loving and wonderful with these children, and how it was such a happy place. And that was my primary goal, was for my son to be happy.
That's the Netherlands, all right? Who wants to click on another one?
As a parent, you cry a lot because you are so proud of the successes you see in your own child, and you watch the other children. It doesn't matter what level they are at, but they are all succeeding at their own level. And I want to take it to my son and say, who is verbal, who is so successful and independent, who cooks, who does his laundry, who walks to work every day, Andrew can live at a somewhat independent life by himself now and be fine. And this is not what we saw Andrew when he entered ECLC at the age of 10 years old.
We see our kids continuing to develop, and now we're following them into adulthood because they remain with us, and we're seeing them continuing to make great strides in their 20s and their 30s, and that is just so exciting.
ECLC will always be a resource for him. We have been reassured that that's what they do. They help find jobs. If Tim was to lose his job, they would help find another job for him. And they continue to have alumni classes and reunions and activities forever. So as long as Tim wants to be involved at ECLC, there's a place for him there.
She's been accepted now. Not only did it help her, but you had the family, you had the PTA, you have parents there who have the same issues. They give us advice on how to work things out. And so we're much more of a happy family. We're on the same path.
In his graduation speech that he wrote by himself was, "I love my life." And you can't beat that.